What if the things you've been throwing away could become the centerpiece of your garden? Today, we're taking old, rusty bike gears and turning them into a stunning Gear Constellation Patio Wall. It's magical, practical, and something anyone can recreate with a little imagination. Welcome to Backyard Fortune, a place where forgotten materials get a second chance to shine. In this video, we'll explore a fairy tale garden wall design using upcycled bicycle gears, showing you how to transform a simple surface into a work of art. If you have any questions or want to share your ideas, drop them in the comments. And if this inspires you, take what you have and make it your own. Maybe to you, I'm just another face on a screen. But behind every design shared here, there's a real story and a real family. When you hit subscribe, you're not just helping a creator grow. You're helping a dream stay alive. You're giving hope, one click at a time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing me. One, bike wheel border path. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine walking down a quiet garden path where the breeze feels soft against your skin. It's not just any path. On either side, old bicycle wheels rise from the soil like gentle sentinels, their rust and curves catching the light. What once carried speed and motion now holds stillness and grace. Between each wheel, lavender stretches upward in violet waves, daisies nod their golden faces to the sun, and bees dance lazily through the air. The sound of their wings blends with the soft crunch of gravel beneath your steps. This is where old things find their second life. This kind of garden border isn't about perfection. It's about storytelling. It begins simply, salvaged wheels, perhaps from a forgotten shed or a neighbor's giveaway, anchored into the ground with care. There's no need for complex tools or professional landscaping. A shovel, a quiet afternoon, and a touch of imagination are enough. Once the wheels are set, nature does the rest. Lavender thrives beautifully along narrow paths. Daisies bring brightness and softness. Strawberries or thyme can spill along the edges, adding scent, color, and the promise of something edible. As the sun moves, light filters through the spokes, creating playful shadows on cobblestones or gravel. Creeping vines slowly find their way upward, wrapping each wheel with a tender green touch. Moss may cling to the rims over time, softening their edges, turning what was once rigid into something alive. It's the perfect example of how upcycling doesn't just reduce waste, it adds a new kind of beauty that store-bought fences can't offer. One of the quiet strengths of this design is its flexibility. It can curve gently around a flower bed, frame a small vegetable patch, or line a narrow footpath leading to a hidden corner of your garden. The more weathered the wheels, the more character they bring. Rust becomes an accent, not a flaw. A touch of wildness in a carefully tended space creates a balance that feels both natural and intentional. If you want to bring this idea to life, start small. Choose a few wheels, clean them lightly, and plant low-maintenance flowers or herbs. Let the seasons shape them. Over time, the garden and the wheels will grow together, telling a quiet story of transformation. The kind that makes people slow down, breathe deeply, and smile without even realizing it. This is more than a decorative border. It's a moment of peace built from something that might have been forgotten. It's proof that beauty doesn't have to be new, it just needs a chance to bloom again. Two, rusty chain and gear fence accent. If you pause long enough in a quiet garden, the wind has a way of revealing small wonders. Here, A weathered wooden fence becomes more than a boundary. Rusted bicycle gears bloom like mechanical flowers, their edges softened by time and threads of climbing vines. Chains curve gently between posts, draping the fence like old jewelry, each link catching sunlight in its own quiet way. The tulips below rise boldly in red and yellow, as if to honor the contrast, steel and rust above, living color below. It's a simple scene, but it speaks volumes about how forgotten things can find new meaning when placed with intention. The beauty of using chains and gears in the garden lies in their honesty. They don't hide their age. The rust is not a flaw, it's a story, a texture that makes the living plants around them appear even more vibrant. If you look closely, the vines don't just grow, they embrace the metal, weaving through each opening, softening its lines with life. Over time, a structure like this doesn't just decorate a garden. It becomes part of its rhythm. You don't need welding tools or a workshop to create this look. Old bicycle chains can be looped gracefully between posts. Gears can be mounted on any wooden surface, secured with just a few sturdy screws. If you let ivy or thyme climb slowly through, nature will do the rest. The interplay of hard metal and soft foliage creates a texture that's impossible to buy off a shelf. The second image tells a quieter story. Here, the chains sway gently between iron stakes, vines, and butterflies mingling in the warm afternoon light. It's not loud or showy. It's patient. As the plants grow, the structure blurs the line between human craft and natural growth. What began as scrap becomes a living frame, changing with the seasons, gathering moss, catching wind, and always offering something new to look at. And then there's the garden border made entirely of gears and chains, shaped in flowing waves around bright marigolds. The contrast is striking, vibrant flowers against rugged iron. It's a reminder that structure and softness can coexist beautifully. If you let the rust breathe, if you trust the plants to fill in the spaces, the result is something timeless, like a garden that's been here for decades, whispering old stories. Projects like these are ideal for those who want to create beauty with their own hands. Start small. A few gears, a short chain, a bit of patience. Let the plants do their quiet work. With time, your garden will grow into a place where metal and life intertwine, where even rust feels poetic. This is DIY at its best, not perfect, but personal. A way of turning what was once discarded into something that makes people stop, smile, and stay a little longer. Three, bike frame trellis garden. There's a certain kind of magic that happens when something once in motion finds a second life at rest. An old bicycle, its frame marked by years, its wheels no longer spinning, stands quietly in a corner of a blooming garden. Around its handlebars, morning glory vines weave their way up, threading through the spokes, wrapping each curve as if they've been waiting for this moment. Tiny purple flowers open toward the sunlight, and butterflies drift lazily between blossoms, moving with the rhythm of the breeze. What was once a vehicle is now a trellis, and it fits so effortlessly into the landscape that it seems it was always meant to be there. What makes this idea so charming is its simplicity. A forgotten bicycle doesn't need to be restored, just placed with care. Lean it gently against a tree, a fence, or anchor it into the ground. Climbing flowers, like morning glories, sweet peas, or clematis, do the work for you. As the seasons pass, the vines find their paths, softening the hard lines of metal with living green. It's a slow transformation, and that's part of the beauty. You don't force it. You let nature do what it does best. The second image tells a slightly different story, practicality wrapped in rustic beauty. Here, the old frame stands strong, its rust a warm contrast to the deep green of tomato vines climbing through its structure. Planter boxes at its base cradle herbs like rosemary and basil. There's nothing ornamental about it, and yet it's beautiful. The sunlight hits the leaves, and their scent mixes with warm earth. It's a living trellis that doesn't just delight the eye, but feeds the kitchen too. For anyone dreaming of a small edible garden, this is a wonderful way to blend utility with artistry. Then, a wall of vintage bicycles leans gracefully against wooden boards, each one entwined with climbing white pea flowers. It looks almost like an installation, part sculpture, part living wall. As the light shifts through the day, the flowers cast soft shadows on the wood, and the once-forgotten bicycles become a kind of vertical garden. This approach is perfect for narrow spaces or blank garden walls. It proves that even a row of old frames can become something poetic when paired with nature. The beauty of using old bicycles as trellises is that it asks very little but gives back so much. There's no need for complex carpentry or expensive materials. A single afternoon of placing, a handful of seeds, and patience is all it takes. Over time, your garden will quietly tell its own story, of things reborn, of vines finding their way, of beauty that grows without haste. It's a reminder that sometimes the most enchanting designs are born not from what we buy, but from what we choose to see differently. Four, hanging rim flower gallery. When light filters softly through a garden, everything seems to slow down. In that quiet, even something as simple as an old bicycle rim can find a second life. Against a rustic wooden fence, each wheel becomes a frame for woven baskets brimming with flowers. Petunias and geraniums spill over their edges in pastel waves, their colors glowing in the spring sunlight. Butterflies dance lazily through the air, drawn to the soft scent that rises from the blooms. Vines begin their slow journey, winding through the spokes as if they were always meant to climb this way. What was once scrap has become a gallery, a place where nature and memory meet. The beauty of this idea lies in how effortless it can be. A single nail or hook is often enough to anchor the rims to a fence. Baskets can be woven or reused from old household items. The flowers don't need to be exotic, even common blooms, when gathered together, create a soft and romantic display. Over time, moss may settle on the rims, vines may thicken, and the flowers may change with the seasons. But the simple elegance will remain. Step a little deeper into the garden and the story changes. Here, rims are suspended from the branches of trees with ropes. They sway gently in the breeze, catching light like slow-moving wind chimes. Flower baskets hang beneath them, overflowing with violets and sunny yellow blooms. As sunlight filters through the leaves, shadows dance on the ground, and the scene feels almost like a forest in a storybook. It's a design that doesn't demand much, just a few strong ropes, some hooks, and a bit of patience. Nature takes care of the rest. Along a stone wall, a series of painted rims adds a touch of playfulness. Some are soft blue, some blush pink, some left with the warm honesty of rust. Ivy cascades down from their centers, its leaves trailing like quiet waterfalls. In the late afternoon light, their shadows stretch long across the cobblestones. The contrast between the metal and the greenery gives the wall a rhythm, a kind of living artwork that changes as the sun moves and the plants grow. This kind of DIY garden accent isn't about precision or perfection. It's about allowing ordinary things to speak again in new ways. Bicycle rims that once spun down roads now hold color, scent, and life. With just a little effort and a creative eye, anyone can build a space that feels both whimsical and deeply personal. A garden doesn't have to be large to be memorable. Sometimes, it just needs a few unexpected details, a touch of rust, a flutter of petals, a play of light, to feel like magic. 5. Chain hook herb wall. Here's something quietly poetic about herbs swaying in the sunlight. Along a wooden wall, chains loop softly like garlands, and small metal pots dangle gracefully from their links. Inside, basil, thyme, and rosemary rise in gentle green waves, their leaves catching the morning light. The scent drifts through the air, fresh, familiar, grounding. Butterflies hover lazily, as if drawn not just by the flowers nearby, but by the calm of this little corner. The chains creak softly as the wind moves them, making the whole scene feel alive yet unhurried. This kind of herb wall isn't built with complicated tools or grand plans. It's the kind of DIY project that grows naturally, piece by piece. A few old chains, strong hooks, and simple pots are all it takes. By hanging the pots at different heights, you give the plant space to breathe and light to find its way through the leaves. Over time, as the herbs mature, they spill gently over the edges, softening the structure and giving it a layered, textured look. It's functional, yes, but it's also beautifully human. A little further down the fence, pastel-colored buckets swing lightly in the afternoon sun. Mint and oregano pour over the rims, their trailing stems weaving playfully between the rusty links. It's a humble setup, but it transforms the entire fence into something welcoming and alive. As the wind moves through, the scent of herbs drifts like a whisper through the garden. There's something deeply satisfying about growing what you use, especially when it's done in a way that feels effortless and artful at the same time. And then there's the terracotta version, warm, earthy, timeless. The orange pots glow against the wood, and the old chains form an elegant pattern that frames each herb like a little sculpture. Bees hum nearby, curious but unhurried, their wings catching the golden light of early morning. This setup is simple yet full of character, perfect for a small garden corner, a patio, or even a balcony. The beauty of this design is that it adapts. You can use whatever containers you have, metal, pastel buckets, terracotta, even recycled tins. You can arrange them in a line, a wave, or a cluster. You can grow herbs, flowers, or trailing greens. It's a flexible, sustainable way to bring life into spaces that might otherwise be plain. More than just decoration, this kind of herb wall brings the garden closer to daily life. It's a place where you can brush your hand over a leaf and catch the scent of summer. Where butterflies pause. Where something small and beautiful grows quietly, reminding us that charm doesn't need to be loud to be unforgettable. Six. Bicycle rim bloom stand. In a quiet corner of the garden, where cobblestones catch the light like tiny mirrors, a tower of blooms stands proudly. Its shape is born not from new materials but from something once forgotten, old bicycle rims, stacked and curved into a graceful vertical stand. Terracotta pots rest in each ring, cradling pansies and begonias that spill their colors into the air. Sunlight brushes softly against their petals, moss creeps gently at the base, and the air feels alive yet serene. It's a sight that reminds you how beauty doesn't always need to be built from scratch. Sometimes, it just needs to be imagined differently. This kind of vertical flower stand carries a gentle practicality. It doesn't demand much space but gives so much in return. It creates height, draws the eye upward, and allows plants to bloom at different levels. A handful of rims, a steady hand, and a bit of creativity are enough to make it happen. Once the structure is set, you can let the flowers do the talking, petals layered like brushstrokes, vines trailing like whispers. Elsewhere, a similar structure takes on a more playful form. Painted rims in soft pastel tones twist upward like branches of an enchanted tree. Each branch holds its own pot of lavender, daisies, or petunias. Bees hover lazily, moving from one bloom to the next, turning the whole piece into a living sculpture. In the warm afternoon light, it feels less like a DIY project and more like something out of a storybook. And yet, it's something anyone can make with patience and a spark of imagination. Then, in the heart of a wide garden, a grand tower rises, a layered structure of vintage bicycle rims arranged like a blooming chandelier. Each tier overflows with colors. Pinks, yellows, purples, and oranges cascade down in waves of petals. As evening falls, small solar lamps glow softly at the base, giving the entire display a gentle, golden warmth. It's a statement piece that doesn't just decorate a garden, it transforms it. The beauty of these rim stands is how adaptable they are. A small corner can hold a modest 3-level structure, while a larger space can host a towering centerpiece. Terracotta pots bring a rustic charm, but any container with drainage can work. The rims themselves can be left with their natural patina or painted for a burst of character. What matters is not the perfection of the build but the life it brings to the space. These creations are more than just planters. They are living sculptures, blending steel and soil, memory and bloom. They invite butterflies, catch sunlight, and give new meaning to what was once left behind. In a world where gardens are often built to impress, this is something quieter, something that simply grows and belongs. Seven, Break Disc Lantern Path. As twilight settles over the garden, the light begins to change. The sky softens into a dusky blue, and along the winding path, a warm glow slowly awakens. Each lantern stands gracefully on a base of weathered bicycle brake discs, their rust catching the faint shimmer of evening light. Moss and creeping thyme weave between the stones beneath, softening every line, blurring the boundary between what was built and what has grown on its own. The path feels like it belongs to another time, quiet, warm, and timeless. This is the beauty of garden lighting when it's done with a touch of imagination. Instead of grand fixtures or expensive installations, something as simple as an old brake disc can anchor a lantern firmly to the ground. Its weight keeps the light steady, its shape gives the piece character, and the natural patina adds an old-world charm that new materials can never quite mimic. As the lanterns flicker to life, they don't just illuminate a path, they create an experience, guiding each step gently. Further down, the cobblestone walkway curves like a soft ribbon through waves of tulips and lavender. Lanterns on thin black rods rise from the discs like slender sentinels, their soft golden light catching the colors of the flowers. Butterflies rest on the petals while fireflies hover near the lamps, glowing faintly in the evening air. It's a simple DIY idea, yet it transforms an ordinary path into something enchanting, something that invites you to slow down. At the patio edge, a row of glass lanterns sits low to the ground, their bases again formed by these same forgotten discs. Inside, small tea lights flicker, reflecting gently in the glass as ivy curls along the edges. A breeze moves through the flowers, and the lights respond like quiet heartbeats. It's delicate. It's easy. And most importantly, it's real, a little reminder that beauty doesn't always come from perfection, but from intention and warmth. These lantern paths prove how everyday materials can become something extraordinary with the right touch. Brake discs once spinning fast on the road now rest still, supporting light that guides the way home. No heavy construction, no complicated tools. Just a good eye, a steady hand, and a willingness to let rust and flame speak softly into the night. This isn't just lighting, it's atmosphere. A feeling that lingers long after the sun sets. Eight, Pedal and crank fence art. There's a certain poetry in the way old bicycle parts can breathe new life into a quiet fence. Rusted cranks and pedals, once spinning fast on forgotten roads, now rest still in the morning light, forming a gentle sunburst against weathered wood. Lavender sways softly at the base, daisies open their bright faces to the day, and butterflies hover lazily as if they, too, can feel the nostalgia hidden in the metal's patina. It's not just decoration, it's a story of time repurposed, of movement turned stillness, of something old made beautiful again. This kind of fence art invites the eye to linger. It isn't loud or flashy. Instead, it grows into its surroundings, blending rust with wood and bloom. Simple tools and a little creativity are all it takes to arrange old pedals into a circular pattern, fastening them carefully so they appear to spin even when the wind is still. As the sunlight changes through the day, the shadows shift across the fence, giving the display a quiet rhythm of its own. A little further down, pastel-painted pedals hang in a playful vertical row, like a string of memories catching the golden afternoon light. Their colors, faded blues, soft greens, sun-washed yellows, give warmth to the rustic wood behind them. Vines climb between the spaces, weaving their way through the metal, softening the lines. It's a small, easy DIY that transforms a plain fence into a piece of living art. And because it's made from weather-resistant metal, it ages gracefully, blending even more beautifully into the garden over time. On another fence, cranksets and pedals stretch like constellations in steel. Ivy climbs and curls around the shapes, pulling them gently back into the natural world. Beneath them, marigolds and thyme create a fragrant carpet of orange and green. It's a composition that doesn't try too hard. It simply exists, like something you might stumble upon in an old European village. The beauty of this idea lies in its versatility. You can create patterns, sunbursts, rows, constellations, or let the pieces find their own rhythm. A touch of paint adds brightness, while bare rust tells a different kind of story. No two fences will ever look the same, and that's the magic of it. In a world that often celebrates the new, this is a quiet reminder of how the old can still speak. It speaks through texture, through shadow, through the way a breeze makes the vines move. It doesn't just decorate a garden. It makes it feel alive. Nine, welded frame vertical garden. In a quiet corner of the garden, where sunlight meets old brick and stone, something unexpected stands tall. Bicycles, not for riding anymore, but for growing. Their frames, once moving through city streets, are now welded together into living vertical gardens. From their baskets and wheels, basil and cherry tomatoes spill over in green and red, soaking in the warm afternoon glow. It's a clever transformation, not just practical, but poetic. What once carried people now carries life. This kind of design gives a small space the chance to bloom upward instead of outward. A single bicycle frame can become a trellis, a row of them a living wall. Hanging baskets filled with herbs and vegetables turn old metal into an edible garden. Against brick, the vibrant green of basil and parsley glows. The deep red of tomatoes adds warmth. It's easy to maintain, beautiful to look at, and surprisingly productive. Elsewhere, a row of painted vintage bikes leans gracefully against a wooden fence, pastel colors softening their metal lines. Ferns and spider plants overflow from the handlebars and seats, their leaves catching the soft morning light. Butterflies drift lazily between them, as if drawn to their gentle symmetry. This isn't just upcycling. It's storytelling, turning forgotten objects into the heartbeat of a whimsical backyard. And then there's the most rustic of them all, two old bicycles stacked gently, their frames rusted to a warm brown patina, standing on a mossy patch like a sculpture found in a forgotten courtyard. Lemon balm and mint cascade down their baskets, softening the hard lines of metal with living green. The plants sway with every breeze, and the structure looks as though it has always belonged there, part of the garden itself. The magic of welded frame gardens is in their balance, part art, part utility. You can use them to grow herbs, flowers, or even trailing vines. The frames can be left rusty for a time-worn charm or painted for a fresh and playful touch. And unlike fixed planters, their lightweight, vertical design means they can stand in narrow spaces or be moved with ease. This is how gardens are built, not just with soil and seed, but with memory. A bicycle that once carried someone across town now cradles tomatoes and thyme. A forgotten frame becomes a climbing stage for green vines. It's a gentle reminder, with a little imagination, even what's old can bloom again. Gear Constellation Patio Wall. There's a kind of quiet wonder that happens when ordinary metal meets sunlight. Along this rustic patio wall, old bicycle gears have been arranged like a constellation, each one glimmering softly in tones of gold, copper, and pewter. The sunlight hits the edges just enough to make them glow, while below, terracotta pots cradle thick clusters of succulents. The rough cobblestone beneath, the weathered plaster behind, and the warm tone of aged metal create a timeless atmosphere, like a corner of a European garden that has always been here, waiting to be discovered. This isn't just decoration, it's a way of turning forgotten things into something magical. Each gear, once part of something fast and mechanical, now sits still, telling a quieter story. Their circular shapes mimic star charts, mountain outlines, or coral formations, depending on how they are arranged. It's an easy DIY that can be scaled up or down, transforming even a small patio wall into a piece of living art. And when paired with simple clay pots and resilient succulents, the contrast between soft greens and warm metal becomes irresistibly beautiful. Another wall bursts with energy through color. Vibrant red, teal, and black painted gears cluster together like a playful galaxy. Some of them cradle small potted plants right at their centers, giving a lively mix of industrial structure and natural softness. Ivy vines spill down from above, framing the installation like a living border. It's a bright, whimsical look that's surprisingly easy to achieve. Old gears, a bit of paint, and some thoughtful placement can turn a plain wall into something enchanting. Then, a softer palette appears. Pastel blue, sun-washed yellow, and sage green gears are arranged in delicate patterns that feel almost like lace against the wall. Below, succulents cascade gently from terracotta pots, their trailing strands catching the light in golden hour. This softer approach shows just how versatile this kind of installation can be. It doesn't always have to be bold, sometimes, quiet beauty speaks louder. What makes this project special is how accessible it is. Gears are easy to find, easy to clean, and easy to arrange. They can be welded, screwed, or simply mounted with hooks depending on the wall. The plants below, or even nestled within the gears, bring life to the structure. Over time, ivy may creep in, paint may fade a little, and rust may deepen, giving the whole installation a more natural and organic look. It's more than just a design idea. It's a way to let time, light, and nature collaborate with something human-made. A wall like this doesn't just decorate a patio, it gives it a soul. And that's how a pile of rusty bicycle gears can become something extraordinary. It's simple, beautiful, and gives your space a touch of storybook charm. If this idea sparked your imagination, I'd love to hear how you'd make it your own. Share your thoughts or questions in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss more upcycled garden ideas like this. Together, we can turn simple things into something magical.